Hello and welcome to the Kids in Comedy Spring Semester Graduation Show. Give it up for yourselves. Everybody at home, you are about to watch some very funny kids perform comedic stand-up material that they've been working on for weeks. And it's so good. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. This is a wonderful bunch of kids. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce your host. He will be hosting this show. He is one of our interns in this class, and he's quite wonderful. Please give it up for Luca Libera, everybody.
What's up, guys? I'm Luca. I'll be hosting today. I'm one of the interns, as Ashley mentioned. You know, when we used to have in-person class, I would bring your kids water and set up the room. Now I bring your kids nothing and set up the Zoom. So it's been rough. I actually don't even set up the Zoom. Emma does that. So my job has been irrelevant lately, but it's been a lot of fun. You know, all these kids are super funny. So I'm excited to get into it with them. You guys are in for a real good show. And then I don't know. I mean, this whole like Zoom stuff has been tough for everybody. Like, for example, I've been taking Zoom classes for my college right now, and it's kind of tough. Like the other day, I was taking the Zoom class and I had my video on, but I had the teacher, like I had the volume all the way down. I wasn't really listening. I was watching TV. But then I see on the video that she's like raising her hand. So I was like, oh, she's probably like polling the class or something. So I raised my hand too, and then I unmute her to hear what she's saying. And she's like, oh, just Luca then. So Luca, how long have you been a fan of Beyonce? I was like, oh, I'm that guy now. So I've been the big Beyonce fan in my Zoom class lately. Been talking about, you know, her latest album or something. And I don't know. I mean, Zoom does have some advantages, especially like Zoom comedy shows, for example. You can do some cool virtual backgrounds, you know. For example, okay, well, I'll do a joke where that I usually do on stage, but now we can do it with a virtual background. You guys ready? So I'm from Brazil, right? Usually, like last time I said that at a show, some guy came up to me after the show. He was like, "Oh, you're from Brazil? Cool. What part of Brazil are you from?" And I was like, "São Paulo." And he was like, oh wait, I forgot to use my background. This is the guy who came up to me after the show. He's like, "Oh, cool. What part of Brazil are you from?" I was like, "São Paulo." And he was like, "Well, you don't say that like you're from Brazil." Because I was supposed to be like, "São Paulo," you know? I don't know. But this guy wouldn't give it up. Like he started getting angry and angry. He's like, "Are you actually from Brazil?" Like he started becoming this like bald, fat man. He's like, "Prove you're from Brazil." Like if you're actually from, I hate when people say they're from Brazil. They're not actually from there. They even speak the language. Prove it. Prove you're from Brazil. So I robbed him. You know the vibes. I usually get some. But yeah, I mean, it's been tough being quarantined. I guess the second thing I hate about it is just like, you know, at college it was easy to like date and like go out with girls and stuff on Zoom. I mean, on, you know, online, it's just way worse. You got to be on Snapchat the whole time. I'm not a huge fan of Snapchat because on Snapchat, you have to make yourself the most interesting person in the world with every Snapchat you send. You can't send a boring snap. You can't seem like you're just chilling in the house. Like every time a girl snaps you, like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You got to hit her with something like, you know, not much, just wrestling a bit, you know. And it can't just be that. You know, you can't just show like you can't just be like flexing your fighting ability. Sometimes you gotta hit them with some finesse too. Like they ask what you're doing, you hit them with the not much, just got done curing cancer. So those are the two options. That's how you really stand out on Snapchat. So that's been tough. But other than that, you know, life's been pretty good. I have a driver's license now, so I've been driving around a lot. Uh, it's way too easy to get a driver's license in the US. Just way too easy. You can be way too young and get it. Like pretty much you go into the DMV, you're like, "Hello, sir, I'd like to drive this 2-ton killing machine, please." And he's like, "Okay, well, are you 18? You know, are you fully mentally developed?" And you're like, "No, I'm 16." And he's like, "All right, perfect. I mean, you drive a hard bargain, but that's fine ultimately." Um, then you can drive. I mean, you actually can't drive, right? That's not the only step. The next step is you got to take the written test, right? You know, the multiple choice written test. And I was studying like all night for this written test, just fully prepared. I get there. First question. If you drive while drinking, your judgment is A, impaired, B, not. That was it. And you only need to get 75% to pass, so you don't even need to get that right. So you can drive just not knowing the effects of alcohol on the human body. Then after that, so I actually did my road test in Brazil, and in Brazil they're really strict with this road test. Like for example, I was doing the road test. The first time I did it, I failed because I parallel parked too close to the curb, not touching, too close. That's I failed because I did too good of a job. You know, like Elroy, for example. Elroy, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say you're a good student?
I don't know.
Well, Julian. Okay, Julian. Would you say you're a good student?
I'd say I'm a good student.
Okay, well, you're expelled. So
Okay.
that's exactly how that worked. Appreciate that, Julian. Thank you, Elroy. I'm sure you're a very good student as well. And so that was my road test. And then lastly, I eventually did the road test in the US. I passed that. But I remember when I was driving, when I was going home after the road test, I was listening to the radio, and they were just talking about how there was this huge crash on the highway. Like somebody was driving drunk. It wasn't nobody got injured, but he just flipped the car, and it was a huge thing. I was just thinking this guy driving drunk, crashed. What was going through this guy's head? He was out at a bar drinking, sits down at the car. He hasn't started driving yet, but he feels that his judgment is starting to get a little impaired. And he goes, "Oh, that's what I got wrong on the written test." Oh, man. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much what's been up in my life. No one got injured in that crash, so you guys don't have to worry about it. I'm in that fake crash that I just made up. But I'm excited to get this show started. So if you guys are ready, I would like you to give a very big welcome in the chat. Just hype him up in the chat. Very big welcome to Elroy Solons, everybody. Yeah.
Now, I'm a really bad liar. And have you ever had a friend, maybe he's really annoying, maybe because he's a bit of a show off or bragging a lot or something in that range. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to have a play date today?" And I'm like, "Well, I have an improv show. I've never taken an improv class in my life. I just say I have." And he's like, "Oh, okay. What about tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Well, it's the performance, so it's a 5-day." And he's like, "I come to the performance," and I'm like, "There's limited tickets." Sorry about that. So he's like, "Okay, fine. We can have a play date on Monday. It's a great day to have a play date." I'm like, "Yeah, well, my friend from North Dakota, his name is Eric. We're having a play date. And he knows there's something up. I'm not telling the truth. Even before I got North Dakota, it's just things going through my mind." Now, the next day, I see him crying in a corner, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, I made him cry. Oh my God." So I go up to him and I'm like, "Oh, I can go to the play date with Eric from North Dakota, and we can have a play date ourselves." And he's like, "Really? But I wasn't really crying about you. My goldfish died today." So the only time I'm happy that a goldfish died. And another thing is, me and my sister we don't have a good relationship, and maybe it's because she knows when I'm telling lies. Did you eat my bacon?" And I'm like, "I eat your bacon? I would never eat your bacon. Never. I just don't know how. That's the one thing I don't know how to do." Now, a word I really hate is the word hope, because whenever I hope, it backfires to me. Let's say I'm playing ping pong, I'm like, "This is my time, one more point, I'm the winner," I lose the whole game. It's over. And I think the hope, that's it. Never give up, never give up. He cannot beat you. He beat me and I should have gave up. I really should have. The only time I really wanted to give up. Now, another word I hate is goodbye. what is with this goodbye? What's so good about this bye that you have to say it was a goodbye? Why can't you just say bye? Or when you're having a bad day, can't you say, this was not a goodbye. This is kind of more of a bad goodbye. I'll just say bad bye. Why can't you say that? Because there's no reason to say the word goodbye. Now, and also good night. What is with good night? I'm having nightmares in the middle of the night. That's not a good thing. It's not a good night for me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a nightmare. It's not a good night. You don't have to say it every night because I know what to expect. Now, in the morning, you're like, good morning. And I'm like, I had the same nightmare as last night. Please stop saying good night or good morning. And please stop saying goodbye or any of these good. Just say it night or something or morning or something. Just not good. Don't do that. So, goodbye. That's it. Thanks.
Awesome, Elroy. Killed it. Love that. That was great, everybody. And your next comic coming to the stage, you guys are going to love her. Give it up for Alyssa Bell Emelson.
Hello, I'm here. So everybody's been noticing things in quarantine, right? Like, I don't know, like an extra light switch that you think really does nothing, but actually turns off all the power in your neighbor's house. Something I've noticed is that my little brother is a species of toddler I've never seen before. A half 43-year-old man and half tornado. You may be thinking I'm insane to call him a half 43-year-old man, half tornado. Yes, I am. He made me that way. Well, he's a 43-year-old man because he has his scheduled chaos instead of the normal 2-year-old throw everything. He does things in a schedule. Like, I think somewhere in my house I'm going to find a schedule that goes something like, wake up at 4 a.m., peacefully meditate for 30 minutes, then wake up mom seconds later by shaking her. I'm Tara's mom. Dump cereal on the floor at 9:30. Screech at siblings once they wake up at 10:30. Tug on the loud, weird siblings' hair from 11 to 2. And somewhere in between to break a TV. As a 43-year-old man, he's naturally having man off with my dad. I'm the new man in the house. Let's still do man off. No, wait. Let's do this like adults, not barbarians. We should vote as a democracy. You may be wondering who won this election. Let's just say the tornado child is the manliest he's ever been. And another thing I noticed is that people on Zoom are usually just wearing a nice shirt and some pajama pants. Let's just get rid of the jeans, burn the jeans. See, I got my pajama pants right here. I can put them on right now. You know what? Traitor. Didn't work for me. Anyways, we can all be happy and just have a pajama pants society. We can call it Pajama-landia, and I shall be the leader. In the clothing stores, there's going to be pajama pants, regular pajama pants, sports pajama pants, formal pajama pants, and pajama pants. And we need to have like a weekly checkup just to make sure nobody is wearing the disgusting jeans in my kingdom. If they're wearing the jeans, off with their head. Another thing I decided is that we need a Yelp for kids. It's just, we need to start complaining to the manager early. We need to become parents at an early age. So I decided to rate all the extracurricular activities I've done in my life. Starting with soccer. I looked at this guy instead of playing, sucked at it but still loved it, and called Gatorade trademark soccer juice. 14 out of 10 stars. Swimming. Cried before and after class, and the teacher was actually a drill sergeant from the military. -5 out of 10 stars. Basketball. Cried before and after practices and games. Hated it because my parents liked it. I was a rebellious 5-year-old. 4 out of 10 stars. Girl Scouts. Something I actually didn't cry at. We ate snacks and crafted, and that's literally it. 7 out of 10 stars. Ballet. I had no clue what the steps were at recitals, and we wore stupid-looking costumes. 5 out of 10 stars. Tap dance. Same as ballet, but now a useless skill. Gymnastics. I fell on my face a lot. I think I got some brain damage from that kicking in. They got paid for my hospital bills. Stars. Big cooking class. We put frosting on crackers, period. 1 out of 10 stars. But I rate the crackers with frosting and thinning out of 10 stars. Arts and Crafts Club. I always had glue stuck to my forehead somehow. How did it get there? I don't know. 2.5 out of 10 stars. Softball. I don't even know about it. 10 out of 10 stars. Crochet Club. The teacher didn't teach us anything. I taught the students more than her. I should have been paid for sitting around and doing nothing. Negative 10 out of 10 stars. Acting. I suck at acting, and that's all to say. Debate or what's line? That's line? Okay. Not to be. That is the question. I decided not to be. 3 out of 10 stars. Choir, we sang. 4 out of 10 stars. Vocal choir, we sang. It's just another fancy word to call choir. I learned that. Save the Earth Club. The club was made by 2 11-year-olds, and the most I ever did was make a bag out of a t-shirt. Negative 2 out of 10 stars. Now I gotta go apologize to those 2 11-year-olds, so I hope you gave me a performance out of 10 out of 10 stars. Thank you for being a great audience.
Yeah. That was awesome, Melissa. Gatorade is 100% soccer juice. That is very accurate. And thank you all in the chat for all the support. Keep it coming. And your next comic coming to the stage, I'm very excited to see it set. You guys are going to love it. Give it up for Sammy Stone.
Often before quarantine, what I would always do is, usually to get home from school, I would take an Uber. And when I get in and confirm the place, I just want, to get there. I don't really want to have this whole conversation, but they feel the need to have to be like, so, how old are you? What grade are you in? Oh, we're in a car. Vroom, vroom. You have a dog? Woof, woof. Not only that, it's the same thing with barbers. When I go into a barber shop, I just want them to cut my hair so I can go and get out. But they feel the need to be like, so, from the city, tall buildings, bus, the wheels go round, ooh, meow, animal. Like, are they really this bored that I have to do this? I'm not 5 years old. You don't need to entertain me. Like, just do your job so I can go. I mean, you're getting paid for this. You have better things to do than try to force these conversations. One thing that I've been researching because of quarantine is this thing called fruitarianism, which is this extreme offshoot of vegetarianism and veganism. And it's basically the fact that you can't eat fruit, nuts. I mean, you can only eat fruit, nuts, or seeds. And while that's an honorable thing at first glance, there's so many cracks in that philosophy if you just think about it for more than a second. I mean, think about it like this. At that point, people are just thinking, oh no, we're hurting the planet. Well, if you're living, aren't you hurting the air? Don't live. If you're standing or hurting the ground, it's reeking in agony. I can't go on. No. And while it sounds stupid at first, this is basically the logic of these people. Many of them won't even take the stupid fruit off the plant because they don't want to hurt it. What kind of logic is that? Someone could be texting them, hey, do you want to come over and do something tonight? They're like, sorry, I'm really hungry and this fruit doesn't look like it's going to fall off for a while. It's like, move, you stupid fruit. And they sit there for hours being like, One thing that I found really stupid is this whole philosophy about finding, catching, and killing and selling Bigfoot. I'm not saying if he's real or not. It's just that these people are want to just like capture him and sell him because they think they can do that. There are these shows like Finding Bigfoot and all these other things that somehow rake in millions of viewers on a regular basis. And it always has the same formula. Some two people are gonna be like, hey, so me and my buddy were sleeping in our truck in the woods. Then we heard a noise that scared the devil out of us. So we got a shotgun to try to pump it full of lead. When we went out, it was Bigfoot. Before we could capture that monster and sell him the highest bidder, the old devil ran away. But we're gonna get him this time. We know we will. And turns out, spoiler alert, they never do. Maybe they will in season 10. I don't know. Maybe that's why the viewers are so high. But it's not just that the people want to do this. I mean, why not just leave Bigfoot alone if he is real? And also, wow, we sure does get around a lot. It's the same person. Someone in Oregon spots him at the same time someone in Maine does. Conveniently, they're both in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And also, these people hold huge seminars for their fellow Bigfoot catchers. They all swap stories about trying to capture Bigfoot. But of course, these people on TV, especially, never lie. Why would anyone on TV ever lie? That's ridiculous. That never happens ever, right? Right? It's not just that this whole idea of Bigfoot capturing him is ridiculous. It's that it probably started out with some joke a long time ago that, there's a creature named Bigfoot, watch out, it's in the woods, it's gonna come and get you at your sleep. And it eventually evolves or devolves more like into this whole thing where it's just, I'm gonna tap this Sasquatch and sell him and get money out of this.
Yeah. Thank you, Sammy. I think there is a chance that Sammy is just trying to take us off Bigfoot's trail so he can find him himself, but can't confirm that. Awesome set, Sammy. Coming up next to the stage. What did you say?
You'll never know.
Yep, you never know. Coming up next to the stage, this guy is awesome. You guys are going to love his set. Give it up for Jack Schroella, everybody.
Everyone wants a dream job, but John Harrison, ice cream taste tester, it has the job of everyone of the world. So he wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning to taste test like 20 samples of ice cream every day, and apparently he has $1 million palate insured. Insured. Let me see that one more time. Insured. That means if he loses his taste palate somehow, he will get $1 million in cash, or maybe not in cash, but $1 million. So it's like he can't go like a crab restaurant or anything like that, because if he does, he can be like, oh, I can't taste anything. It's too spicy. I'm gonna need my $1 million by Monday. Thank you very much. I will not be paying anything or tipping anything. I won't need to, because you ruined my taste palates. Good day, sir. But I imagine him being like an important businessman. It's also kind of nice. He's walking through an office like, we got those ice cream tests but I want them now. I want them by Monday. I want them by $2.99 and then now. I want to move my 6 o'clock to my hug with my child that's coming into town today. I have like a net worth of like $6 million or something like that. And I mean, think of it, like as a kid, he was like, Mom, wake up. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I have to get ready for my dream job in like 20 years at the age of 78 that I will work on for 30 years. So I can, so my taste palate is ripest, most best state. But honestly, I wonder where John Harrison lives. Does he live in the city or like the suburbs? And which one's better, really? Well, in the suburbs, you wake up to like a rooster or some sort of bird that's like squawking or screaming or some sort of in pain or something like that. And, the whole that music plays in your head. Hopefully it doesn't, because that's kind of scary. But in the city, I wake up to and a really loud boom. And then I see a video of it happening on YouTube or something. And in the suburbs, I get to sometimes drive my uncle's car. And in the city, I'm the getaway driver. Sometimes I smash up the car, but Frankie doesn't really care that much about it. Let's just find new ones with the shipments. In the suburbs, I get to go to the beach with my family, with my mom, everyone. It's so nice. We go in the water. And in the city, we have toxic waste puddles that my feet, my skin on my feet gets so relaxed that it kind of just droops off, and sometimes I can see the bone. That's how relaxed I get. And then sometimes it bubbles and sizzles if I'm lucky. It gets kind of tasty sometimes. In the suburbs, I get a little bit of allergies from pollen because I have a pollen allergy. I get itchy and scratchy, and I get a rash. In the city, I get a rash and itchy. I get itchy and get a big rash from some sort of nuclear poisoning, or maybe an old woman's breath that sometimes sneezed on me, or maybe a subway wave of warm air that's below me, or something like that. And finally, last comparison, I think, is in the city, there's pollution. And in the suburbs, there's also pollution. What did you think I was going to say? There's not pollution? There's pollution. Wake up. But let's talk about that thing with pollen. And because I have pollen allergies. You might think nature's great to you in the spring and all those days, but for my birthday, which is in the spring, I have to think that nature gives me allergies when I rash my entire body until I can't feel anything anymore. And obviously, the only rational explanation for this is that my mom entered a bar in the 1980s and talked to a wizard or a witch or some kind of thing like that, or ethereal creature, and she lost a bet, and then the best thing that they could do was curse her womb with pollen allergy repellent or something like that. And honestly, it's a joke. It's funny, but you don't know the pain. It's terrible. Whenever I try to sit behind a tree and I start hearing, reading a book, I start hearing it talk, and it goes, "Oh, it's you again. Oh, I get to mess with you." And I go, "No, please don't do it. Not again. I'm so sorry." It goes, "I'm going to do it. Don't do it. I'm going to do it. Don't do it. I swear to God, don't do it. I'm going to do it." And then it releases pollen all over me, and then I get scritchy and scratchy, and then I start screaming. I don't know what scritchy means, but I said that. And then and I start coughing. Everyone looks at me, and they're all staying away from me because they think I have some sort of illness. And then National Geographic guy shows up, and he goes, "Oh yes, this is the guy who's been making me millions of dollars every 5 minutes. The wild child with the pollen allergies screams in pain as they are blinded and shocked by the tree's release of pollen. The blonde-haired kid is now stunned. His arms inflate like the Hulk's. His eyes turn red like Superman. He's kind of angry. And he coughs like a sick bottlenose dolphin and sneezes like a horse. And he gets red like the sun or something like that, I think. It's not part of his contract, but he says that sometimes. And then it gets worse because then all people really see is not he makes a cinematic. All people see is a skinny, small, blonde kid with a bloody nose on the ground after he just punched a tree, and I was crying and scratching everything. Yeah, thanks for listening to my stories.
Great job, Jack, dude. You talking at the beginning while the man ate ice cream on loop in the background felt like the strangest fever dream I've ever had, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great job, Jack. Coming up next to the stage, he's awesome. You guys are going to really enjoy this. Give it up for Emmett Pesca. Emmett Pesca, everybody.
A lot of comedians imitate people. I personally don't imitate people, but I do talk about imitating people. There's a difference between imitating someone and mocking someone. Mocking someone is when you try to get their voice incorrect. For example, this is my impression or imitation of my brother Milo. Oh, I'm Milo. I like skateboards and lampshades. What it really sounds like is, oh, I'm Milo. Care for a glass tea? I sort of like lampshades, and skateboards could be a choking hazard if it goes down the wrong pipe. An imitation is when you try to get their voice correct. This is my impression of Elmo. Hi kids, I'm Elmo. You like candy? Elmo love candy. Hop in the back of my van. By the way, this is not Elmo the Muppet. This is the Elmo Robinson, the professional kidnapper. And here is my impression of the famous Las Vegas performer, Robert Goulet. I mean, he's been dead for 10 years. What do you expect? Got me thinking, what if there was a game show where you had to guess the person that was being imitated? Okay, Bill, it's your turn. Who is this from The Wizard of Oz? I'm melting! I'm sorry, but the Wicked Witch of the West is incorrect. The correct answer was vanilla ice cream left on set. The Russians launched dogs into space. Laika was the first. Laika was right when she got launched into space. Protests immediately began. How these protests work was they attached a sign to their dog that said animal abuse, which is animal abuse. You can't attach a sign to your dog. Oh, crap. Walk your dog, hold your signs. Walk your dogs, hold your signs. I can't imagine what tricks I could teach Laika the name of the dog before they launch her into space. Like a sit, like a down, like a check oxygen levels. Good girl. Laika, when traveling to the moon, she was wearing one of those cones that dogs sometimes have, and she picked up a few radio signals and she had no idea what they meant and she got confused. This is what Laika was like on the moon. Finally, I gotta stretch my legs, go to the bathroom. What the heck? Meh. Wait a minute. Is this the thing I've been howling at all this time? This Hungo junk? Is it even made out of cheese? No! What a ripoff. What's that blue and green orb in the distance? And by the way, of course she died, because have you ever tried to put mitts on a dog? Or maybe a hat? Good luck with a spacesuit. It's a fantastic audience. I think. I don't know. Goodbye.
Yeah. Awesome job, Emmett. Should have picked up the phone. That was the ghost of Robert Goulet calling. So I'll compliment you. But yeah, great job. Are you guys ready? We got one more student comic coming to the stage. He's very funny. Give it up for Trent Ford.
Hi, I'm Trent. In quarantine, kids have been forced to go to live classes via Google Meets. Google Meets is basically Zoom, but free and easier to use. Because we have to join live classes, we don't have to show our faces on the Meet, which is great. I've been rocking this semi-mullet / bowl cut for months now, and I don't need people to see it. In the live classes, only 3 kids show their face. Not even the teacher wants to show off their bad haircuts. One kid who shows their face is how they would look normally during school. Another kid is unaware of his video is on and is playing on his phone. And the final kid, fully aware his video and mic is on, is wearing a sombrero, goggles, fake mustache, and watching the Little Mermaid series. You don't show your face, you show a profile pic, which you can choose to represent yourself. A lot of the profile pics I see kids using don't really make sense when compared to their personality. For example, one kid's profile pic is of this cool robot, but he thought the Terminator's movies were real. His profile pic is a gif of Shrek dancing, but he never saw the Shrek movies. Another kid's profile pic is an image of him as a cartoon, but he's not a cartoon. I've been thinking a lot about secret agents, and I think that the job title secret agents is pointless because someone knows you're a secret agent. To me, a secret agent is someone who everyone forgot still worked somewhere. Do all secret agents act like James Bond? Because that would be a dead giveaway. If you see a white European guy with a martini addiction, a clean tux, who just happened to leave a party after a long chat with the chancellor, then you know you have a secret agent on your hands. You don't act like James Bond, what happens? Do you get fired? Your last mission, you didn't wear a tux and you forgot to drink martinis. What do you have to say for yourself? My last mission was infiltrating a 2-year-old's birthday party as a birthday clown to see if your ex has really moved on. Well, you're still fired. If you're a secret agent and you get fired, can you put it on your resume? I think you should be able to. I see on your resume that you have participated in some coups, good with people in power, and have worked as a birthday clown. Well, how do you think these skills will help you at Wendy's? Did you know that some Olympic sports have been discontinued? I found this surprising, probably because I don't watch the Olympics. The standard discontinued white people sports like lacrosse, baseball, and cricket, and then you have the weird ones like dual pistoling, running deer shooting, and motorboating. But my absolute favorite discontinued Olympic sport is tug of war. Can you imagine 10 people who are as buff as the Rock, 5 on your left, 5 on your right, tugging a flimsy rope like they are tugging a 4-year-old's arm around a Home Depot? How did the winners go home and explain that to the people? I won the gold medal in the Olympics. For what? Doing something with rope. Meaning that all playground sports can be discontinued Olympic sports? Hey everybody, we are discontinuing the following Olympic sports. Tag, hide and seek, cops and robbers, duck duck goose, and red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. And I've only been talking about the summer Olympic sports. I can only imagine what discontinued winter Olympic sports there are. They must be who can sit in the snow the longest, snowball fighting. My bad. And how fast can you detach your tongue from a frozen pole? There was only one Olympic sport, though, that I hope gets discontinued, and that is weightlifting. If I wanted to see people who could lift more than me, I wouldn't watch the Olympics. I would just go to the closest gym. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Awesome job, Trent. One more time for all you talented student comics. Give them some hype in the chat. Everybody's been great in the chat. And to close off the show, we got a special guest set from our other intern for this class. So everybody, please give it up for Julian Gerber. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm the other intern. I'm Julian, but you can just call me what all these kids know me as, intern 2. Yeah, I just graduated high school. I'm going to college next year, and now that I've graduated high school, I've been following all my old teachers on like Instagram and Facebook. And I have to say, nothing is more rewarding than finding out that your teacher is a loser in school and out of school. Like, sure, I talk in your class every day, but at least I didn't get 3 likes on my niece's birthday post. Sorry, I have a lot of pent-up anger from the past 4 years. But yeah, I'm going to college next year, and I finally know where I'm going. Because it took me a lot longer than most people to find out definitively where you're going to college, because I was placed on a lot of wait lists at a few places. And if you don't know what a college wait list is, it's basically you're not accepted, but you're not rejected. It's like if enough people who actually got in decide not to go, then they go to the wait list and let people in. So being on a college wait list, it's a lot like you ask a girl out and she says, sure, but only after I get rejected by 2,000 other people. And then if you do go out on a date, you still have to pay for dinner, and dinner costs $70,000 plus room and board. Even if that dinner is online for a semester, it still costs $70,000. But yeah, when you get placed on a wait list, you have to like respond to them and tell them, why you want to get in and whatever. And actually, for a little while, I was on the wait list at Columbia University in New York. And while I was on the wait list, I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of people were actually protesting Columbia because, they're large NYPD contractors and they gentrify Harlem pretty terribly. And, rightfully so, they should be protesting. But that kind of put me in a morally dicey situation because on one hand, I want to be socially conscious. On the other hand, I want to get in. So like I'm trying to protest like, yeah, Columbia, you should be ashamed of yourself destroying the neighborhood. And if you accept me, rest assured, I will help you destroy this neighborhood. But it must have worked because next year I will be going to Columbia, which I'm very happy about because it's nice being able to stay in New York because I live like 5 blocks away. So like on the bright side, like I already know I am never doing my laundry. But on the other hand, my dad is going to have me come over every day to help him log into his AOL account. So, it's a real, trade-offs, Look at that. My dad, I'm not even kidding. My dad is literally calling me right now. He just, right when I said that, he called me. Not now, Dad. Get a Gmail. But yeah, I'm going to Columbia, and it's a little strange as a New Yorker going to a school in New York, because it's clear that their welcome website is very much geared towards non-New Yorkers. So, as someone who lives in the area looking at the website, it just seems ridiculous. Like it'll be like, oh, enjoy the amazing ethnic cuisine surrounding our beautiful campus. It's like, all right, the closest restaurants are Panda Express and Chipotle. Just tell it like it is. Or like it'll talk about like, enjoy the beautiful New York City culture. And I'll give them that. New York, it may be disgusting, but we are cultured. Like when the guy breakdancing on the subway accidentally kicks you in the face, it sucks, but it feels cultured. All right, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Julian. He goes to Columbia, I go to NYU. Score up, bro. Next stream, we're scrapping, me and you. Everybody, thank you so much. This has been a great show. Elroy, Alyssa, Sammy, Jack, Emmett, Trent, everybody give it up for them. They killed it today. They've been great all class. We also want to thank Ashley, our teacher, and Emma, our TA. They make this all possible, and they were great with this class. Special thanks also to Joanne and Stu who run the program. And lastly, big thank you to Matt who makes all these streams run and helps us with all of that. So yeah, everybody, thank you all for watching our show, and have a nice rest of the day.
You take that.